What's up, everyone? Welcome to another UFC Quick Picks here on the Mayo Media Network. We have Abu Dhabi on the slate this weekend. It is a early morning card. We have, I think, 13 fights on the slate. It's a pretty decent card throughout with a fun main event. Corey Sandhagen versus Umar Nurmagomedov in the main event. I am here, as always, to give you my favorite cash game play, tournament play, salary play, and a matchup I like on this week's slate. So let's just get right into it. And I'm going with my cash game play of the week, which is going to be Umar Nurmagomedov at 9.2K. I think he's clearly the best play on the slate, although I respect Corey Sandhagen a lot. I think Corey Sandhagen can win. That's more of a tournament discussion. In cash games, I mean, Umar's minus 338 to win. He's in 3-round fights, he's scoring 112, 105, 105, 114, and 118. He's not dependent on wrestling, but that is his primary skill set. I think he's going to have to wrestle with Corey Sandhagen to have success. And over 5 rounds or not, I think he's putting up plenty of points to contend with the optimal in tournaments and easily fulfill his cash game role. Plus 185 to win inside the distance there. Sandhagen is a great fighter, but defending takedowns at 64%, has given up takedowns to plenty of random fighters throughout his career. Austin Ornette, Yuri Alcantara, Mario Bautista, Song Yudong, TJ Dillashaw, Rob Font. Umar Nurmagomedov is going to be able to take him down. It's just a question of whether he'll be able to hold him down and do so for 5 rounds. Again, you can argue that Corey Sandhagen is worth leverage, worth playing for leverage in tournaments at a cheap price tag, but in cash games, I think Umar is clearly the top play on the slate at 9K, and I will be locking him in for cash games. All right, next up, my tournament play of the week. Let's go with Joel Alvarez at 8.3K. I'm actually not a fan of Joel Alvarez as a fighter or with his style, but I think he has clear tournament winning upside here. It's minus 162 to win against Elvis Brenner, minus 105 to win inside the distance. This guy never wins by decision. The reason I don't like him as a talent is because he's been largely dependent on submission grappling. The vast majority of his wins are by submission, but he never wrestles at all on the regional scene. In the UFC, he's really never landed a takedown. So at some point, the rubber meets the road there, and you just can't beat fighters of a certain level when you're dependent on grappling and you can't actually grapple. However, he's had success throughout the UFC because he's way bigger than his opponents. They're forced to pressure. He's been able to hurt them. They've dove on his legs. He's been able to wrap up their necks, etc. He's going to be once again at a huge size discrepancy over Elvis Brenner. He's 6'3", Brenner's 5'10". He's got a long reach as well. Alvarez should just have the bigger build, the more physical fighter. And Brenner's been hurt quite a bit throughout his UFC career. I think Alvarez has early knockout potential, and I also think at some point Brenner's going to decide to wrestle, which will help, close the distance. And Alvarez will have submission upside there too. I certainly like Brenner as well. I think Brenner can win this fight over an extended period, but Alvarez has more early finishing equity. Again, minus 105 to win inside the distance is a great number for 8.3K. Alvarez has scored 97, 97, 93, 108, 94 in his wins, so it's pretty decent. Perhaps not decent enough for like a 9.3K price tag, but for 8.3K, given the finishing equity, I like Joel Alvarez this week. I think the majority of his win equity comes in an early finish, and I'm willing to back him at 8.3K in tournaments. All right, next up, my salary play of the week. I'm going to go with Rolando Bedoya at 7.6K. He could be popular. I don't know that he's going to be ultra chalk, but 7.6K, he is a value, and I wanted to note that, especially because there's not a lot of great options as underdogs this week. And Bedoya is someone I at least think can win, and I like a little bit. He's plus 121 to win against Jai Herbert. Mediocre fighter, but pretty decent with his pacing. In his 2 UFC fights, both have been losses, but he landed 149 and 112 significant strikes in each of his 2 3-round fights. Jai Herbert, a pretty technical kickboxer, and certainly could compete with Bedoya, but Herbert's landing 2.6 significant strikes per minute, a far cry from the 8.7 per minute Bedoya's landing. I also think Bedoya's probably got the better durability of the two, as Herbert's been hurt, Herbert's been knocked out. Inside distance lines are competitive here with Herbert plus 275, Bedoya plus 285. So Herbert's going to be the clear contrarian target if you're looking for a contrarian option, but Bedoya at 7.6K, he's got value for his price. He throws strikes at a super high rate, and he has knockout equity. He's someone I like to save salary that can win and still potentially reach a ceiling. So Bedoya, one of my favorite salary savers on the card. And finally, my matchup of the week, I'm going with the preliminary opener here with Cedric Dumas versus Denis Tululin. Dumas is minus 220 to win, Tululin plus 185 on DraftKings. Dumas 8.9K, Tululin 7.3K. And don't get me wrong, there are ways for this to fail, but Tululin usually wins or loses inside the distance. The fight's minus 200 to end inside the distance. Tululin is just going to go out there and brawl. That's really all he knows how to do. He's been hurt and knocked out recently. He gets taken down and submitted all the time. So I definitely think, although Dumas fights at a slower pace, if Dumas is going to win, I think he can grapple to a victory. I think he can hurt Tululin or win by submission. There are many paths for Dumas. Plus 115 to win inside the distance. I think he's a strong play for 8.9K for the finishing upside. Tululin at 7.3K. His really only path to win is to go out there and brawl. And when he won, it was a second round KO against Jamie Pickett, 124 DraftKings points. Dumas is not that, I was going to say predictable, but low fight IQ. He's not that trustworthy. And so I would not be shocked if Tululin pressed forward, forced striking exchanges, and hurt Dumas. Dumas is coming off an early knockout loss as well. Again, fights minus 200 to end inside the distance. I'm projecting a pretty strong score for the winner, no matter who it is. And that will be my matchup of the week. Thank you so much, as usual, for the support here. You can follow me on Twitter, Appley, _T_P. Establish the run for all your DraftKings needs. Again, early morning slate here on Saturday. Make sure you get your lineups in before contests fill up. Best of luck on the card, and we will talk to y'all soon. Peace.